YouTube. Insta. We got to be a bit louder than that.
Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. We're going live again. Haylley's just getting into the pool. But this is our
Keep going, keep talking.
after Thursday workout. And surprise, surprise, it's going to be therapy. So if you were waiting for your hit from Haylley, then it's me today, the therapy workout. I'll also remind you that in October, we have our live conference. So October the something.
First.
The 1st. There you go. October the 1st. Just before I go out to Australia. So get your tickets in the usual place or through Haylley.
Unfortunately, I can't get the music to go.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do it no music. So sorry about that, but we'll let you know. We'll just keep talking. Today's going to be a lot more on sort of on the educational side as well, because it's the therapy side. So I'll be talking about why, because there's movements that you do that you'll recognise, that you see in other things, but it might be coming from a slightly different angle. So that's what today's workout's going to be about. Haylley's going to be in the pool. She's just trying to set a camera up to go in the pool, and then we'll get going. So any questions, just leave us a message.
If you can, if you can't hear Linda, let us know on the comments, and that will then let us know. If you can't hear her, she needs to speak louder.
Yeah, we can't tell that. So also that we do other courses as well. So you can always go to our area website. That will give you lots of other short CPDs if you need to get any CPDs from the various conferences that we've done over the last few years. The virtual one, so each year we do a virtual one, and now of course we're all back in the hopefully in the real world. We have our live one, which I said is October the 1st. So Haylley, I think, is pretty much ready.
I am.
We have glasses on.
Ready?
So
the sun is shining.
Sun is shining.
Unlike the last time when it was raining.
So sun is shining. So it'll be a nice day. It's going to rain tomorrow, by the way, but in the UK, but still. Okay, so we're just going to start off by warming up the joints. This workout is designed for just sort of like joint mobilization, on releasing some of the fascia. There's lots of research that I've been reading, especially it's been published this year, on fascia and on the association with pain. So this is all related to that. So we're going to start off with knee bends. So you're just going to slice forwards, slice back. That's it. So nice, easy movements. Make sure that you stick your bottom out, as if you're sitting in a chair, just getting everything going. And then we're going to turn the hands. So we're going to peel the hands back. So slice forwards, peel the hands back. Slice and peel. So you're opening up the shoulder, just mobilizing, do everything, getting those knees moving. Try and sort of think about whether people are tracking their knees in the right way. Are they coming in and they're sort of pushing down knees together, or are they coming down bow-legged? So you want them to sort of like track nicely. So when I teach therapy, I try and get people to tune into their body. Okay. From here, we're going to actually come down and we're going to reach on a diagonal. Okay, so it's a little bit as if you're skiing. So the hips are coming out one way, then the other. Again, slicing the hands. Okay, turning into spirals because we are spiral moving bodies rather than straight sagittal moving. Single arm. And then we're going to come from the slice and we're actually going to sweep. We still have a little bit of a bend. So we're getting rotation through the ankle. The fact that we're grounded means that the ankle joint is moving, the knees are moving, and the hips are moving, all in a spiral line. Starting to release the back as well. Okay. Take the legs slightly apart, slightly less on the spiral through the ankles. And we're moving the arms through the water. So you're just resting on the water. Okay, then lift the heel, lift the heel. And really reach with that arm. So you should be able to feel all of the rotation through all of the joints. We're now going to go into reverse. So take the arm backwards, the palm up. We were palm down for the previous one. This time we're palm up. And we're opening up. So still working on the shoulder and the chest. Okay, this is also going to affect and go into the neck. So we're going to have a positive effect on the neck as well and the muscles there. Watch to make sure that they're not lifting the arms. So hopefully you can see Haylley at the moment. I'm going to get her to change a couple of things here. So Haylley, can you do it where you're lifting and just using your necks for the muscles as well? So lift the shoulder. Okay, I'm just going to check she can be seen. So hopefully. Yep. Excellent on the middle bone. Okay, so you can see, now this will mean that Haylley's actually using the muscles in her neck and not the muscles from her mid-back. So we want her to use rhomboid and mid-trapezius. Okay, so drop those shoulders now, Haylley. Nice space between the ears and the shoulders. Come back. Excellent. Okay, so keeping the arms open, we're now going to roll the shoulders. So you want to literally lift the shoulder, roll it forwards, and then lift the shoulder back or drop the shoulders back. Sorry, lift the shoulder, roll it forwards, drop them and roll back. So the shoulder blades are going to go back into the pockets at the back. So you're trying to get the feeling of the scapula moving across the ribs in the back and space between the ears and the shoulders. And here you've also got a nice curvature. You're sort of snaking the spine as well. So each vertebra, you're trying to get space between them. Opening up through the chest. So you're trying to get expansion and up through the clavicle as well. So helping with the breathing muscles. So inspiration, expiration. So encourage them to breathe deeply. And encourage them to breathe through the nose rather than through the mouth. So inhale and exhale through the nose. Okay. And making sure that Haylley actually doesn't take her head too far back, that she doesn't look too much to the sky. We want the length to be here, but we don't want to compress the cervical spine. Lovely. Okay. So from this now, this opening position, we sort of like move all of the joints. We're going to step back, alternating the step back, heels going into the pool, a relaxed wrist. So we're sort of getting into the muscles on the back of the arm. A nice flexion extension through the wrist, and we're stretching out through the calf, so through that Achilles tendon. And from here, we're going to add a little bit of I Chi because we love the I Chi. So you're going to stand in that lunge position, bring the arms up to the surface. Again, they're going to relax on the surface of the water. Palms are going to come up. We're going to take a big breath in as we turn towards the open leg. And then palms down as we breathe out and bring the arms back together. Now, again, it's something I encourage it to go with the breath. So it doesn't matter how long it takes the person to inhale and to exhale. We're not trying to get the class to do exactly the same amount of time. What we're trying to do is get them to encourage that deep breathing, to tune into the body, to get those scapulars to retract, to allow space between the ears and the shoulders so we're not working those neck muscles, which so many people do. And again, here we're sort of rotating, we're pivoting on the hip joints and on the ankle. Okay, and then we're going to finish off with 2 hands in front. Open both hands, and we're going to do a weight transfer onto the back leg. So allowing that back leg to bend, and then weight transfer onto the front leg. And when we're doing this, we keep the bottom tucked in, because again, I see a lot of this going on. All right, we're actually moving through from the ankle. So transfer onto the front leg, onto the back leg. Again, in time to the breath. So you can feel that expansion in the chest. And as we're doing this, so I'm just going to turn again. So as we come back, if we go into think about the fascial line, we're going to have a stretch right the way down that superficial front line. Okay. Then bringing up the toes on the front foot as we have the weight on the back leg. And then roll down, heels up on the back leg. So now we're taking it into the foot and working on the fascia and the plantar fascia of the foot. Weight transfer, opening up the chest. Ooh, little wobble there, as a Haylley. It's surprising actually how many people find this can be quite challenging, but also, and keeping that body moving as one. It's a nice core strengthening exercise as well.
Which, having just had a baby, is not great.
No, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Okay, so the body weight's going to remain in your front leg, so in your left leg. The right leg is going to step forwards and back. Now, again, it's going to depend upon the depth of water that the people are working in. I'm going to get Haylley to show you 2 versions of this. So what the leg that we're exercising is actually the stationary leg, not the moving leg. So the stationary leg, going through the ankle, you're working on mobilizing the ankle joint. This is half gait, which a lot of people understand as well. So you're mobilizing the ankle joint on the stable leg and the hip joint. We don't want to bend the knee. I see a lot of this. Okay, then we're not actually moving that ankle or the hip at all. It's just the moving leg that's working. So it's a stationary leg. Now palm pushes forwards and palm pushes back, so you get into supination and pronation of the forearm. Okay, now I'm going to get Haylley to show you and demonstrate something else here. If they're in deeper water, then they're going to find it very difficult to do this arm movement. So they're going to have to compensate slightly. So I'd bring that movement into something else. But to get them to actually do the work on that standing leg, they need to do push forwards and push back. Okay, so push the back of the hand, palm of the hand. So again, we're opening the chest and working on that scapular stability and working on stabilization. But it is helping to bring the body forwards and take the body back. Okay, does that make it feel easier? It does. Okay, but if you were sort of had people that were chest deep or slightly deeper, then this is what they might need to do.
I might be able to do a bit.
Yeah. Well, we can just go down to the deeper bit. I'll just check whether she can be seen from that angle. What's this first phone on? You can't be seen on that one, so you've got to come forwards a little bit. Okay. Yep, you can see her now. So does that make it easier, Haylley?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, we haven't got our third person here who helps run the cameras. So this is me, who's totally technophobe, and Haylley, who's the expert but is wet. Okay, so from this angle now, so we've got them moving. So I'm going to go back to this palm forwards, palm back, supination, pronation. Haylley's come back in the shallow water. We're actually going to use that same, we're going to come around, we're going to rotate. So you're going to be the arch of the foot on the moving leg is in line with the toes on the stationary leg. And then we swing it to the back and the arch of the foot is now in line with the heel. So you want this to be a small movement because again, we're working the anchored leg and you're actually rotating through the fascia, through the connective tissue, through the muscle. So a really nice stretching. And then we bring the upper body. So the upper body is going to counter move and counterbalance. So here we've got some nice rotations going out through the upper thoracic, or mid-thoracic and upper thoracic. Okay. Lovely. So coming back now, bring the legs slightly apart, and we're going to slide one leg in and then slide the other. But we're actually going to do it with a hitch and a bump. So we're actually going to lift that hip. That's going to come into something we're going to do after we've repeated on the other leg. Okay, now we're going to stand stationary on our right leg, and the left leg is going to tap forwards and back. So again, supinate, pronate with the hands. Keep the shoulders down, so nice space between the ears and the shoulders. Control through the wrist, so it's not a floppy wrist. We've got a nice, strong movement, so we can get those rotations in. Again, working through the ankle and the hip on that right leg. And then we're going to go into that rotation. So here at the shoulders, we have internal rotation here and then external rotation here. So not only are we turning the hands, but we also have internal, external rotation of the shoulder joint. So quite often, you've got your clients concentrating on one part of the body, but you might be actually thinking, well, they're stiff in their shoulders as well. So you might be adding extra moves that they are subliminally, I think that's the word,
Subliminally.
working on another part of the body, which could be actually giving them pain and they don't normally want to move. But because they're in the water, because they're not having to sort of put too much effort into this and they're actually concentrating on the lower limbs, they're not thinking about the fact that the upper limbs are moving as well. Okay, excellent. So let's go back into our side step with a hip bump. Okay, so we're putting our hips out to the side. So giving
just
a little bit. So other than wiggling it just a little bit, we're going to now lift the leg. I've got my orthotics in these shoes, so my balance on one leg is not so good today. So as you do this, we're going to then come into one leg and we're going to do that little wiggle. Okay, so again, getting stability. If you were to fall over, you'd want to be able to correct yourself. So you'd want to be able to actually bring those hips into alignment. So Haylley's now not just wiggling it a little bit, She's wiggling it quite a lot. Okay, lovely. Right, so finishing off on whichever leg you want to, but we're going to finish off standing on our, well, right leg. Left on Haylley's point, right, because I started talking. And we're going to draw in from the core, stabilize that spine, lift the leg to hopefully to 90 degrees and externally rotate. So you can use the hands to counterbalance. So I can actually see Haylley's wobbling quite a lot on her left leg. Beautiful external rotation, still probably the relaxing hormone from when she was pregnant, still there. So the hips are sort of going a long way. And that's probably why she's a bit unstable as well in her ankles. But draw in from the core so you can stabilize the sacrum and the lower spine. If you have a relaxed core and somebody's got any sacroiliac issues or displacement or anything like that, then you're going to straight away go into that region and create more pain. So you want them to be able to engage in this position. And take it out to the side. Oh, balance is horrendous. Okay, bring the leg down and we're going to do a hula hoop. So when I'm teaching this one, I like to sit there and say to the ladies, and the gents actually, because gents really don't know how to do a hula hoop, but you're moving from your ankles to your knees to your hips. And at the base of your spine, where the spine meets the sacrum, so on L5S1, if you think of like a pestle and mortar, and as if you're just trying to get that L5 to stir around on that S1 joint. So we're really sort of just trying to get it to move. And you can just relax the arms. There's nothing going on here for this one. Nothing to see here. Okay? And then we're going to go the other way. If you're a person who likes to count, you can decide how many you're going to do. I tend to read the class and see like when they're getting to fatigue. I want them to be prior to fatigue. I don't want them to go into pain because, again, pain has a different effect physiologically on the body. Once they go into pain, you start guarding. I want the body to go up towards that pain barrier and then go, actually, this isn't hurting. It's okay, I can do this. And that's when you start to get changes occurring in the body. Okay. Right, so from here, we're now going to lift up the other leg, I'm going to say. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of that hip bump. So I'm just going to stabilize because I'm rubbish today. Too much support in these shoes. Okay, so we're going to start off with that hip bump. Okay. And then from there, we're going to stabilize, bring ourselves in, engage that core, externally rotate. Beautifully demonstrated. I'm chickening out. Okay, I'm just going to come and check whether anybody's put any comments on. Whilst Haylley's standing on one leg and trying to balance. Okay, so we just we just got people who said that they've joined, as far as I can see, not actually.
Okay.
That's fine.
Stick us a thumbs up if you can see everything, you can hear everything, and it's all good.
Yeah. How's your balancing going? Okay. Right, so bringing it down, we're going to do like a curtsy lunge. So now we're stepping back. So on this movement, we are opening up through the hip joint. So as you step back, you're creating an opening through the hip joint, through those lower abdominals, transverse abdominals. A nice stretch in here, plus an external rotation of the hip. But our arm is going to come across. So we're opening up through the anterior side of what's my right hip, but the back is my left. I'm opening. Okay, so as you step around, we are opening at the front and at the back. And again, always try and get them to put their heels down so they're not sort of just coming back onto tiptoe. Okay. And quite often I'll see them so that they're sort of turning. They turn like this. Or else they go like this. So there's lots of variations, but when you sort of understand the mechanics of why you're trying to achieve this, you can then sort of explain to them a little bit more. Okay, so let's go now from stepping behind. We're going to come into a front knee lift. So touching opposite hand to knee. Simple exercise, we all do it. You might do it as a jog and a bounce or whatever. But then just think about the fact that here, because we're coming across the body, we're actually doing some brain training as well. So doing cross brain training. They're also balancing, because it's not done at speed. If it was done with a bounce so that you were jumping like this, then you wouldn't be having to balance and create stability. So by doing it with the step, you are creating stability. You're doing cross brain training. You're also trying to get the knee and the hip to 90 degrees if possible. So you can see the people who've had knee replacements and see where they're stiff, whether it's actually the knee that's not bending or whether they're having issues in the hip because they've been limping and they've had problems with the knee. Okay, then we're going to externally rotate the hip and walk the hand gradually down the shin towards the ankle and then touching the ankle. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to actually also expand with the arms. So the arms are coming from the surface of the water and back, and you're pulling them in. So you've got a little bit of strength going on here. Depends on what resistance. They could wear mitts if you wanted them to. Okay, you can see, if you're looking at Haylley, there's a slight rotation in the spine going on. Looking at her hips, looking at where she's touching down her legs. So sometimes you'll see people can only touch just below the knee on one leg and the ankle on the other. Trying to check the symmetry, or as much as symmetry, because the human body is not symmetrical anyway. But looking for symmetry, looking to see where the issue might be. Is it at the hip? Is it the knee? Where it might be. Okay. So from external rotation, we're going to switch now and we're going to come for internal rotation. So again, you're pulling down from the surface. This time we're going to take the shoulders slightly back. So from here, where we're touching and working on the anterior side pectorals, we're actually going to come slightly back. We're going to come to the lats, or more towards the lats. It's still a little bit of pecs because you're more to the side of the body. Internal rotation of the hip. Again, engage the core so that they don't do a pelvic tilt. So you want them, I saw that. So you want them to engage through the core.
I took it for a hint.
Oh, did you?
Was it a hint for me?
No, but watching you, it was a reminder for me to mention it. Okay, and then the final one is again back to external rotation, but to the rear. Can they touch the ankle? Can they touch the ankle and maintain posture? You've probably got the side view of Haylley. You can let me know whether her posture is anything. Chicken. Okay.
No, I need my posture check-in, to be fair.
That's it. So we're touching the ankle. So you don't want them to be leaning back. You don't want them to have the bottom out. Okay. There's a lot of people.
That's the one I see the most.
Yeah.
The bum out like that.
That's it. And the other one that I see a lot of is when they actually really lean. And I say to space between the ribs and the hips. Keep yourself tall. Keep yourself upright. Sort of try and lift yourself out of your own body as if there's a bit of string attached to you and the ceiling of the leisure centre or the sky, which is very little white clouds actually for the UK. Honestly, we've had such a rubbish summer. So yeah, so touching there. And then from here, where we've got this good posture and we're very upright, we're going to do a tap and what I call a football kick. I don't play football, I never have, but I call it a football kick. You want the instep of the foot to be presented to the water. Okay? The instep of the foot. So you're going to push the water away with your hands as you kick across, and then push the water away the other way. So again, you've got this supination, pronation going through the hands. Okay? And it's an external rotation of the hip, but it's surprising how many people actually can't do that. The amount of people that will do it and will kick across with the toes. So they're actually leading with the quadricep and the hamstring instead of the adductor and the abductor.
Sorry, are we out?
Yes, we're still doing this at the moment. Okay. So this is what we're looking for. We are trying to get them to do that external rotation instep of the foot. So they're working the inner and the outer thigh. So from here into single leg sweep across. And again, we want the toes to be facing forwards. Okay, engage through the cord, draw in, checking to see whether there's any drop on one side of the hip. So looking for Trendelenburg gait. And also looking to see that as they swing the leg to the side, okay, good posture. But are they leading, I say, with the ankle? So you want them to be leading with the ankle and the side of the foot. Many people will actually do this. Again, leading with the quadriceps and hamstrings, not with the abductors and the adductors. So you get a lovely stretch as you go across here, but also you're working TFL as you take it out to the side, which is a stabilizer of the hip, as well as an external rotator. So very nice. Okay, bringing it down. So we're going to come down into a semi-squat, as I call it. So just sort of sitting a bit further in the water. And we're going to work the hands. So we come back to a little bit of upper body. Now, I don't know if you can see what Haylley's doing, but I would really tell her off if she was in my class. Because what I want to see is you going right from your thighs. Okay, this is not doing a lot.
I was doing that.
She was doing that. She was just literally the fingertips. So it's a big sweeping movement, okay? So nicely up and down. So we're sitting on our haunches. It's nice and stable. And then I want the arms to actually go back past the body. Okay, so we've got that passive movement through the wrist. So especially those ladies that are secretaries or people that spend a lot of time typing, you know, there's many men now. I mean, we all spend our life. Sorry?
And gaming.
And gaming, yep. Yep, when I was at university, I remember somebody saying that they'd made a career out of rehabilitating thumbs from gamers. And he always made a fortune when a new game came out, because the men would be up all night trying to get up the level. Okay, so as Haylley's doing this, and she's made that move nice and big, we're now going to add some rotation. Okay, ensuring, now hopefully you can see, as Haylley turns her back to you, that she's not using any of the muscles, her upper trapezius or any of the muscles of her neck. I can't see any straining, but then I am wearing silly glasses. So there's the shoulders still relaxed. So we're actually stabilizing using that shoulder girdle, using the rhomboids to stabilize through the shoulders. And we've got a lovely rotation through the spine. Again, you're looking also to see whether when they turn, okay, whether they're going to collapse into those knees, because you don't want that to happen. You want the body to be turning, but you still want to keep the space, and you don't want those knees collapsing in. You want to sort of like slightly torque the knees out. Okay, fabulous. So I'm going to bring Haylley back up, and then we're going to sweep across with the other leg. stabilizing. So she had to use her hips then to actually pull herself back into that stable position. Working nicely. So you can see the whole body really is moving all the time or working in one way or another. It might not look like there's much going on, but the amount of effort to stabilize for a lot of people is quite immense, especially if you're sort of working some of the older population, waiting for knee replacements, had knee replacements, hip replacements, waiting for hip replacements, arthritis, all those sort of delightful things that we tend to get as we get older. So people that have had, foot surgery, it's good for them to come into the pool and learn how to use their feet again. And plus the fact you've got that proprioceptive input, you've got that neuromuscular input by the fact that the water's touching the entire body. It's bombarding the nervous system with information. Okay. So coming back down again into that semi-seated squat. This time we're going to supinate, draw those shoulders back and pronate. So I say to them, look as if you've got a £50 note tucked under the arms, or a $100 bill maybe. Okay, so we don't want the arms to come away. We want to keep those tucked in. So you can feel the shoulder blades. Squeeze back. Squeeze back. Okay. So you look like you're leaning forward a little bit, Haylley.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Going down into the deeper water. She won't be able to squat quite so much there, but hey ho.
That's why.
Yeah, because it's a bit. Yeah, the pool needs topping up. So, okay, and then we're going to go from the supination pronation into tricep extension. So you want them to squeeze the triceps at the back as well. So still coming in and down and back.
It's because I'm tall. I need it to be a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Try and get a platform made for him here, but I think I need to find someone who can make me one.
That will make me feel taller.
No. Having a short one. That's it. Okay. So opening out. And again, when you're doing this, another little thing that you can do, which I did sort of quite a lot of us with post-COVID, is I worked one hand, and the other hand, I took each side of the clavicle and I pulled it in the other direction. So I'm pulling it in. Okay. I'll just check that you can see what Haylley's doing there. Yeah, I think so. And then you can actually also, is that feeling tight, Haylley? By the way you're doing. Look on her face, that tells me she feels tight. Okay, so then you can extend that arm away. You can drop that £50 note or $100 bill, and you can extend. And if you want to make it even more intense, you can then look in the opposite direction. So look across as you're stretching. That's it. Okay, do you want to change sides?
That's from holding a baby.
Really?
That's why that's tight.
Little Maddie, little wiggly worm. My youngest daughter's nicknamed Haylley's baby as Mad Dog Maddie because she's a little worm. So Mad Dog Maddie will one day make an appearance. She loved the pool yesterday. How's that feeling, Haylley?
Yeah, nice release. Lovely release. Am I lengthening and turning?
Yeah, lengthen and turn. Fabulous. So from here, on my turn side. From here, we're going to back. Okay, so nice. So we've stretched out through the front of the body quite nicely. We're just prepping ourselves now for the next bit. So again, we're pushing that heel down into the pool. And then we're going to lift the leg off the bottom of the pool. So we're going to lengthen. And now we're pivoting over the top of our anchored leg. And this one is, I would say, it's the equivalent to when you reach into something in a cupboard. We never go into a cupboard, take the tin, let me use my bottle as an example. So how often do you do this? You reach in, you take the bottle with two hands, you come down, you do a perfect spot and you place it on the counter in front of you. Well, I've never done that. So what I tend to do is I'll reach in with one hand, and if it's on the top shelf, I'll be reaching up like this. So this movement mimics that life skill. You've got a nice stretch going out all the way through the body, controlled through the core, because again, there's no skeletal part to us here. So if you bring it forwards and you haven't got the strength, it's just going to drop, and everything else is then hanging onto your spine. So if you've got backache, it can be one of the reasons because of being weak in the core. So draw in and lift. Okay, so now we're going to keep that right leg up, instructor's right leg. And then we're going to just do the arms. So alternating arms, nice and strong through the elbow, through the wrist. And the whole idea here is to actually destabilize. So Haylley, you can hopefully see that in the water, I saw that the water's quite turbulent, where she's moving her arms quite strongly, and she's having to stabilize and maintain that balance and that posture. Okay. From here, we're going to change the arms and we're going to go into scaption. So it's thumb leading and it comes just slightly wide of your shoulder blades. And then we're going to come back in close to the body and the little finger is going to point out here. Okay, so this bit is scaption, external rotation. Okay, here's internal rotation. Okay, scapular retraction and external rotation at the front. That's the actual exercise that would be done for rehabilitation for shoulders, but I've just added it in with the sweep and that movement pattern. Again, you're trying to destabilize, so the trunk and the leg is having to work hard to maintain that balance. And then we're going to bring that down and create circles, and this is called Codeman's pendulum. Okay, if you're doing some rehab for the shoulder, if you've got adhesive capsulitis, one of the which is frozen shoulder, one of the exercises you might be given is to hold a weight, lean over, and just create circles. So this is a similar sort of movement to that. You're making the shoulders work in every direction. Okay, change directions, Haylley. But you're also creating that balance challenge as well. No, you can't change leg. Okay, stabilizing with the hands, you're going to wag the tail. Okay, so draw in from the core. Now, again, one of the things that I see a lot of here is that they bend the knees. So I don't know if you can see whether Haylley can do a bent knee, whether you can see this, but they bend the knees. So, of course, here you're working the hamstrings. So if they're just doing this, they're not working the glutes. They're just working the hamstrings. So you want them to actually, Haylley's, she's just turned for you. So she's just bending that leg up behind. All right, you're getting a nice stretch through the hip flexor and the quadriceps. So if that was your target, then that works. But if you're trying to strengthen the glutes, it can become very weak, we're not targeting that. So you want to keep the leg as straight as you can and use the glute muscle to fire up that glute to actually make that exercise. And then from there, we're just going to swing it forwards and back. Swing it straight through. Again, supinate, pronate the hands, so the palms forwards, palms back. Check that the hips are stable. You sneakily change legs.
No, I turn round. I'm on the same leg.
Are you? No, you're not.
No, no. Hold on. That was the one that was wagging.
Yeah, no, because you turned round. That was the one that was wagging. She's cheating.
No, that is the same leg. That is the same leg.
It's only the same leg as you wagging, not when you're doing the arm exercises. Fight, fight, fight. Okay, so now bring up. So literally try and lift the hips, flex the foot, and make little circles. So again, it's one of my pestle and mortar moves. So thinking about the head of the femur rotating in the hip socket. So lots of stabilizing going on there. And I describe it because, again, I get to see a lot of this, and that's not what I'm looking for because it changes the angle of the joint. I just want it to be a very small movement. Imagine you've got a pencil between your toes and you're just making a circle on the bottom of the pool. Okay? Right, straight legs lift up to the ceiling, sky, somewhere. Up. So you're flexing the foot. Reach down, do a little bit of brain train, so opposite hand to leg. See whether the person is bringing the leg up to the same height each side. Haylley's taking her foot half out of the water, so I'm checking on the soles of her feet whether it looks like it's the same point on each sole of her foot. You'll be pleased to know it is.
I hope so.
Okay, now if you want to add an additional sciatic stretch in it, look down at your toes. So again, it's one of those things that if people have sciatica or lower back pain, they might not be able to do it so much. But if they're like Haylley, fairly flexible, fairly still hypermobile from the baby, but it's hypermobile anyway. Right, so now we're going to swing back on our other leg. So with me, it's my left leg, or instructed left leg, my right leg. And then we're going to come back, do the arms. Okay. So we want to match because, again, we've got that stretch going on. So we've still got that front line stretch going on. Okay, she's trying to stabilize. And then into scaption, so it's thumb up, little finger back. Internal, external rotation, stabilization. A lot of core control going on here. And then we're going to finish off with Codeman's pendulum, so those circles. So you're trying to point the fingertips down to the bottom of the pool. So again, another thing that I see here is this. This is not it. This is not it. Okay, you want to be down. So your fingertips are pointing down to the bottom of the swimming pool. Okay, change directions. And then stabilize with the hands. So I do like a sculling motion with the hands and wag the tail. So just checking to see that everything is in order. And also that the leg is sort of fairly much in line with the body. Okay, you don't want it to be stuck out here too much. You want it to try and lift up behind so that you get those special lines as well as the hip mobility. That leg thing. Okay, could you swing through there for swing through. Sorry, I just had a flip then. I couldn't remember who did circles first. But swing through. And checking to see whether they hyperextend as they go back with that leg. You are a bit. So I want Haylley to engage and tilt the pelvis a bit more. Okay. So I don't know whether you can see that. Perhaps I can get Haylley to turn around a little bit. No, I have the back view. Right, so do what you were doing, swing through with the pendulum. I'm just going to check whether this is coming through on the camera. You might be able to see this, but I'll describe it. Okay, so Haylley's leg is coming up fairly high to the back. Now, if I tell Haylley to engage the core and pelvic tilt slightly, now swing through, the leg has dropped quite considerably. So that shows that she was actually hinging in her lumbar spine to get that leg up behind her rather than actually opening up through the hip. Okay. Right, bringing the leg back in, and we're going to do those little circles. So pencil between the toes, rotating through the hip joints and lubricating as deep into that joint as you possibly can, rolling through the femur. Engage, engage. Sorry?
Lost my footing.
That was me the other week. And then bringing that leg down, we're actually just going to lift out to the side. So remember, we're leading with the ankle joint. We want to keep the upper body nice and still. And we're just lifting up to the side. Engage through the core. And again, see the difference that makes to people when they actually engage. You may have to. This is a new exercise. It's called having a drink and moving. Okay, bring the legs down, and we're going to sweep across again. So just to loosen everything out, because we've just engaged and held everything tight. Add those spirals back into the body. Okay. And then open. And when I do my stretches after a class, I try to keep everything in the water. I hate seeing it when people sort of do their land stretches in the pool. I like to try and differentiate. So we're going to, from here, we're going to take our leg back. Okay, we're going to bend the knee, extend forwards, curl the back, step back and open. And then I do this with the breath. So breathe out and extend. Breathe in and bend. Breathe out, curl the back. Breathe in, step back. One more this side. Breathe out, extend. Okay. Breathe in and bend. Breathe out, curl the back. Breathe in and step back. You can see all the fascial lines there on the sagittal side, front and back. Okay, legs wide. Left arm across to the right. Breathe out. Lift the leg open into a star, breathe in. Transfer the weight. Okay, right to left, breathe out. Lift the leg, open into a star, breathe in. Transfer the weight. Breathe out. Lift. Breathe in. Transfer. Breathe out. Lift. Breathe in. Weight in the middle. Left leg goes back. Arms come forwards. Breathe out. Breathe in, bend the knee. Breathe out, curl the back. Breathe in, step back. Breathe out, extend. Breathe in and bend. Breathe out, curl the back. Breathe in, step back. Last one. Breathe out, extend. Breathe in and bend. Breathe out and curl. Breathe in, step back. Excellent. Arms come forward, legs go wide. Put your bottom out as far as you can. Try and make an ironing board of your back. Bend the knees, take a big breath in. Push your chest forwards and breathe out. Push your bottom back. Arms up. Push your chest forwards, breathe in. Sit. And palms down, push your bottom out, breathe out. Last one. Out. Okay, roll the shoulders. Wiggle the hips. Now I'm actually going to get Haylley to go slowly through one of those sets again, just to explain to you what we're stretching and the lines associated. So you're going to enjoy this. In slow motion. Okay, so we'll start off with our extend. So of course we're stretching down through the lats, all through the anterior side of the body, all through the hips, down through the leg in that position. Okay, so that anterior fascial chain, but plus all those stretches as well in other parts of the anterior. Bend the knee, standing up. So you're pulling in ready for the next position. Okay, that's your breath in. Now extend the leg out in front of you and curl the back. So now that's the posterior, good old Haylley. Posterior chain is now getting a nice stretch, plus the sciatic nerve, and we're lubricating the spine as well. Thank you, Haylley. Okay, now step back. All right, so arms come back. So here again, the anterior chain all the way down from the leg that's behind us, coming all the way up. Okay. So that's what happens on that particular sequence. It is, yes, it's a mixture of I Chi movements that I've put together, but I've thought about it through a fascial and stretching point of view. So on the sideways one, we stand in that wide stance. Okay, arms out. So it's palms down as they come together. So here you've got the spiral line being stretched here. Lift up your right leg. Yeah. So you're opening and legs lifting into a star. So here we've got a massive opening of everything, front and back lines. Okay.
I did mention my balance was bad.
Yeah, you did. Okay, transfer the weight. So she's now bringing, again, working on balance and stability. She's bringing her weight into the mid stance. And then she's going to repeat on the other side. So it's palm down as you breathe out. Okay, stretching that spiral line. Palms up. So you open up through the chest. That's it, into a star. Open, open, open.
I'm trying.
Just trying, doing it slow motion. Push. Okay, palms up. Excellent. Okay, and now again, she's got that sort of anatomical pose as she brings her weight in. Okay, so sort of like sumo style. Right, the last bit then, with the arms come forward, stick the bottom back. You're trying to make like an ironing board. You want absolute length from the bottom of your sacrum and coccyx all the way up, hopefully to the top of your cervical spine and up to the top of your head. So that fascial line. Try not to let them sort of like keep their heads up. You want them to look into the pool if you can, so it's as straight as you can be. Okay, palms come up as you open, arch the chest. Again, bringing into that, well done, into that front fascial line. And that is going right from the pubic bone, symphysis pubis, right the way up to the temples, really. And your chin. Nice, attractive look. Okay, so again, arms come forwards, stretch out that back line. Okay, and then you can, if they can balance, actually lift the toes up as well. So you get that stretch coming underneath the feet. So when they're in this position, they actually lift the toes. You probably can't see that.
I am doing
Yeah,
it.
I know. I've just made you can tell because you're trying to balance it with the hand. Okay, going. That's it. Lovely. And then just to bring them back up, I do the shoulder rolls and the hip rolls just to sort of like get everything going again.
Do I do that in slow-mo as well?
No. No. Seaweed movement. We all like to seaweed in the pool. So, and with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Session.
Yeah, remember, for more therapy and fitness, wait for Haylley's posts. They'll be about anything that we do live, but we have that conference October the 1st, a whole day of just workshops. So join us then.
Yes, and if you are watching this on playback, make a little comment in the comments below to tell us that you're watching it on playback, because that gives us an idea of how many people are watching live versus how many people have watched us afterwards. We really appreciate you joining us. Please do make any comments, any questions, get in touch with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. We'll do another one before the end of summer.
Oh, and there are a couple of therapy courses coming up. So again, message Haylley if you're interested. We have got a Waxu course coming up, an Aqua stretch course coming up, and special populations is being launched, well, towards the end of this month or whenever Haylley can do the editing after I finish recording. So speak to you soon. See you soon. Bye. Oh, there's a lot on here.